Anyways, let's go. Part 11, MMX 100%, Speedrun tutorial, Sigma 1. Let's do it. Sigma 1 is one of the tougher stages in the game. If I had to pick one, it's up there, definitely. Whoops. It starts out, we got this leap of faith right away. I guess coming up, we've got a vial, another unwinnable vial sequence, just like in the intro, where we want to take damage so that he shoots the same trapping shot right away. So we're gonna bonk these turtles a bunch of times, and some other things along the way. There's a couple variations of this leap of faith. The easiest is just gonna be the regular leap. It looks like this, and I'll explain it a little more. That's what the regular leap of faith looks like. The idea here is that you want to bonk 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. You want to make sure you get through this turtle and take your 4th bonk on this turtle. And then once you get to, it's not very far. It's like right at the edge of this thing. The platforms spawn in and start their cycle. So once you get about here, there's no slowing down, there's no stopping if you want to make the leap of faith. Otherwise, you're gonna just end up in the pit like so. So, 1 bonk, 2 bonk, 3 bonk, 4, and now full speed ahead. Don't goof around here, or you're not gonna make it to this platform. There are a couple different ways to kill this jamminger that comes at you. I find the best option is to just, like I just did, as you're going from the 2nd platform to the 3rd one, just throw a lemon at him. It'll take him out, and you won't have to worry about drops. Just shoot like there, and the drops will fall into the pit before you get up here. This is very time sensitive, so if you don't make the cycle, if you're afraid that you're not going to make it, you can just pull out and ride out on this platform. Oh, I'm not going to make it, and just wait for it to start to go back. But if you do that, keep in mind that these platforms have a habit of eating dashes. So if you let go of right at any point during this sequence, there's a pretty good chance that your dash is just not going to come out. If you do stop, try to hold right for a little bit, you know, a handful of frames before you go for your second jump. Just keep that in mind. The other option here is what we call the task leap. Now, it's going to get a little heavy. We're going to talk about subpixels. If you don't know what subpixels are, X's position is represented on screen in a set pixel position, and it can only show obviously in 1 pixel increments on screen, but his actual position value is dictated a little more deeply in subpixel values, so there's a range between 1 and 2 pixels that X can be positioned at, and these you can't see. You obviously don't know what your subpixel value is, so it's kind of a gamble, but there are ways to sort of manipulate your subpixels by using full height jumps. And you need a certain subpixel value in order to make the task leap. Now I'm just going to show you what it looks like. The idea is that we can take a bonk off the right side of this turtle, and then we can get straight from this first platform right on top of this one without the wall kick. And so I beefed it there. It didn't work. And that's because of subpixels. My subpixels were bad. If I have good subpixels, I can make it right on top and make the leap that way. And that's a little faster than the regular leap because you get right side bonk off the last turtle, and you don't have to do the wall kick and stuff, and you still make the cycle. The way I go about doing that is I do only full height jumps throughout the entire first portion of this stage. So I'll do 1 full height dash jump here, another one here to hit the turtle, another one over the turtle's pedestal, another one into this turtle, another one over, and you'll land here on your iframes and you can dash and you'll take another bonk to the right off of this turtle. And if you're far enough to the right, you won't need to worry about this jamming her here. But most of the time, if you don't kill him, you're gonna bonk him. So I usually shoot C-Sting at him. And it comes with some added risk of health drops, because obviously we're taking damage intentionally here. We don't want to refill our health. But it's a risk I'm willing to take to save a few frames or whatever. So, again, it looks like this. I'll kill him and jump. You have to do a short dash on this platform where this turtle is. After you bonk the low one here, you do a short dash here and jump, and I'll kill him on the way through and then bonk this turtle from the right side, and then it's again full speed ahead, otherwise the platforms will be fully out of cycle. So full height, bonk, full height, bonk, full height, dash, bonk. Every one of these jumps is full height. And that's key for manipulating your subpixels. That was bad subpixels. Again, I'm not totally well versed on subpixels, so at what height you bonk these turtles probably affects them. But if you do it the same every time, you should be good. Of course, I am not getting it. I swear it works like at least 80% of the time for me in runs. But I'm like 1 for 4 now or something in this tutorial, of course. But that's what it looks like. Okay, so once we've accomplished our leap of faith, or not, the whole point of this thing is to be able to get to the top and beat that platform. I'd recommend just doing regular leap, by the way, to start with, until you feel like you really need half a second and want to start doing task leap. Dude, come on. So scaling this wall, you can't make it around these corners without a dash jump. And so you kind of let go of right. If you hold right, you're not going to make it either, even with dash jumps. So you have to do like a dash jump and let go of right to clear, you know, each outcropping. And it's at some point, either right away or on the second one, you need to do a double kick to get a little extra height, because if you just keep doing them, you're not going to make it as well. So what I do is I'll do a double kick right away and then dash kicks the rest of the way. And I'll even come out and kick off the side of this platform. The goal here is to beat this platform before it cuts you off and you get stuck like here. This is kind of a shitty save state, TBH. Let's get some music back. So yeah, double kick and then dash kicks all the way up. Or you can do the double kick second. You need to do it on one of your first 2 kicks on these outcroppings. I just do it first usually. This is a shitty save state, sorry. That's more what it usually looks like. The platform will be further out to the left here. Like so. Okay, once we get to the top, we still need to take more damage. We need to get down to 6 HP or less. Now these lemons from these guys are going to do 1 damage. Bonk with them is going to do 2. Same with this guy does 2. This guy does 1, the walker. And then these guys all do 2. Watch out for the lemons because they'll only do 1. So the idea here, there's a couple different ideas. The way I normally do it is I'll come with a tornado and I'll bonk the right side, shoot a tornado, and take out that turret after the fact. But this can be risky if you're not consistent because these guys can drop health. And the reason the tornado is good is because it takes out this blue guy and this walker here, because you spend a little time against the wall. And all those extra things can cause some lag, and that's why I also take out this guy while I'm doing all of that. That's Fire Wave. But at full speed it looks something like this. And against the wall, we've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. If you're holding a direction when you take damage into a wall, it'll cancel your hit stun, and you can take damage faster that way. So the goal is to take as much damage while moving as you can, but also quickly get to the wall so you can do quick damage by holding right, and the blue guy will repeatedly hit you. I probably don't recommend this tornado strat for beginners, but it's what I do in my runs, so I should make sure to mention it. Oops. You definitely don't want to grab the ladder because that's dumb. But see how much slower you take damage just standing here versus holding right into the wall. Much faster. So the goal is to get to 6 or less HP. The other strat, the old strat I used to do, is just come up here, dash into the left side of this guy. Same thing here. Take another one. That's slow. Take another one from the blue guy. Why do I keep missing that dash? And then get right to the wall. And you can take out the walker after the fact. You can leave the turret if you want. I usually take him out for a little bit extra lag reduction, but it's hardly noticeable. Again, bonk, bonk, bonk the blue guy. You can even dump a shot into the turret on the way by if you want. You don't want to kill the walker on the way by though, because he can drop health on your face, which is bad. You take one from the blue guy, and you can come out and take out the walker. If you don't take out the walker and you're just holding right against the wall, the walker will come over here and he'll hit you instead of the blue guy, and that'll cause only 1 damage, which means you're going to need to take 1 more hit. If you did everything right, it should be, if you took all the correct bonks, it should be 6 hits against the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 should be enough to take you down to 6 HP, which is where you need to be, 6 or less for Vile to shoot his trapping shot immediately. If you were doing like my task sleep setup and you get a health drop, you may have to take more. A small health drop adds 2, so that's 1 extra bonk. A big health adds 6 life, so that's 3 extra bonks. Both very bad. You might also notice when I'm taking these bonks, not these ones, but the ones against the wall, gosh, this is terrible. That's Fire Wave. I'll jump and take my last hit up here so that I've already got some height built up, right? Just start my ascent a little early. To, you know, get myself up there faster. 4, 5, and 6. So I'll take my 6th bonk against the wall. Again, still holding right to cancel the hit stun, and you can start climbing immediately. And what I'll do is I'll switch to Buster. I'll try to hit this gap if I can. And I'll do a short hop and lemon this guy. You gotta be careful though, because he can drop health. You can just ignore him and dash underneath him. But I'll do, typically, I'll do a lemon and then an ice shot, and that just helps with some lag. The ice shot's really free. You can just ignore the lemon and go straight for the ice shot, and then you can jump over the other remaining walker up here. But if you don't do the ice shot, you can't jump over them. He gets in your way. You can just dash under them both to get to the ladder, which is pretty easy. But the ice shot's really easy. You just shoot it at the wall as you're jumping to the ladder, and it'll take out one of the walkers so that you can jump over him. So for me, it looks something like, oops, not like that. So I need to eliminate him. It looks something like this. You can add or not use the ice shot or the lemon shot. Either way, it's just a little less laggy if you take out a couple of those walkers. Okay, so here we've got the vial skip sequence. It's pretty simple. Nah, that might be a lot. It's easy. Not exactly simple, but what we want to do is we want to get to that door over here on the right without touching the ground up there, because that triggers the cutscene. And we do that by gap jumping this ladder. I mean, not gap jumping, but kicking out of the gap and going straight to the wall. And now we haven't triggered the cutscene, but as soon as we touch the ground, these guys are going to have some words and go through the door. So, there are 2 ways to do it. You can, well, I guess there are 3. You can just go straight for the gap jump if you're God. Or you can grab the ladder, climb up, press B twice to release and then kick. That can be a little risky if you don't know where, because you can just accidentally climb all the way. Or you can grab the ladder, press B to release, and then you can jump straight up into the gap. And then it's 2 kicks. So, 1, 2, and that'll get you to the door. You might want to do a third if you're... See, he's pretty close to touching the ground. You can absolutely just, like, end up here and still trigger the cutscene, which is annoying. But what I do, when I'm doing it, I'll do the first kick, and then I'll do a 7-pixel kick like we talked about before for gap jumps and stuff, iceless and other places. Do a 7-pixel kick to get yourself just a little extra distance to make sure we make it to the door. Ideally, you don't clip the corner, but that's not a very big deal. That's kind of what you want to see. And then, so now the cutscenes are kind of meshed together. What you got to do in this room is you got to get to the door up top before this text box closes in order to continue the cutscene break. And what I do is I look at this crack in the wall. They come through after the fact. But you see this crack in the wall right here? When the text box expands to cover that crack, that's kind of my cue. Also, there's an audio cue you can listen for when you can gain control. like the... it sounds like a punch almost, you know? But it happens at the same time as the text box reaches that line in the wall. So that's my cue for when to dash and start moving. And you gotta get to the door fast. It's just one dash kick off the wall. And then a dash to the door. It's pretty free. And then once I'm going through this door, you want to be on rolling shield. You need rolling shield ready to go. And as soon as you gain control in this room, you want to dash and do a rolling shield and get to this position. And you'll lose control of X. And then once you lose control of X and the screen starts scrolling to the right on its own, that's when you press and hold start, and don't let go of start for the rest of this sequence. So, dash and shoot a rolling shield and press start. And the fight will progress while the cutscene is playing. And that's how you do the vial skip. Your position when you get trapped is kind of important. If you're too far to the right, Vial will pick you up and carry you and place you over to the left, which is not ideal. Obviously, it's going to be slower. So what I'm looking for... Let me just get him out of here. Whoops. I forgot that... Oh my god. What I'm looking for in my position during the cutscene break before I get trapped is I just take a little step to the right from where you initially start, and I walk to about here. I'm looking at the line on X's. I guess it's his left foot, but it's the right side for us. The line underneath his foot, on the left side of his foot-ish, somewhere in this area, is about as far forward as you can be, and that'll help. Vial won't jump so far over your head that he goes off screen, and it makes for a much easier Hadouken. So we skip the cutscene. Shoot the rolling shield and dash, and then press and hold start. And then walk to the right a little bit. And you can shoot a rolling shield to sort of send him back to 0 faster. It only works if he's already jumping back. And they're like slow and fast cutscenes. It skips based on what Vial's pattern does. Zero's text box can open if it's a slow skip, and that'll cost you some time, but it's mostly RNG. There are ways to force it, but I'm not going to point them out because it's easy to soft lock the game. But see, that's the idea for the auto. You want to just auto to the left while it'll land on it. It's very important that you don't let go of start, you don't let go of start unless you know what you're doing until the fight basically starts. So again, dash, shoot, hold start, walk forward. I'm still holding start, still holding start, still holding start. 0 bust out. This is where it'll soft lock if you did it wrong. But I'm still holding start. It might be safe to release now. But you want to swap back to Buster. I'm still holding start to get through this cutscene. Where did that energy come from? Nobody knows. And then for the Vial fight, it's very free. You can just stand here and auto left. You gotta wait for him though. It's pretty free. What I do is I'll dash to the right just to get myself closer to 0, because after the fight ends we gotta go to the right again. You don't want to dash too far though. And throwing autos after a dash is kind of finicky. So if you're really concerned, you can just do like a short walk and auto to the left. It's a pretty free Hadouken. Even if you goof it, there's pretty easy backups. Okay, that's Vile done. Coming up next, we got Zero. I always like to hold a charge, shoot him in the face, kick him while he's down, you know, that sort of thing. After Zero fades, the game kind of freezes there for a second, and you can use that to buffer a dash input. Not huge, but you know, every frame saved is good. But as soon as this scene ends, you want to start a charge. And coming up, we have a climbing sequence. Well, first we've got the bounce house. So for the bounce house, you just want to dash off the top here and just hold right, and it'll work. Okay, why isn't it working? Oh yeah, you gotta dash again on the ground. What am I thinking? Dash off the top and then one dash on the ground, and just hold right, and you'll make it right through the bounce house, no problem. If you beef it, what I do, if for some reason you don't dash and you end up like this, I'll jump back to here, and then I'll just dash off that and hold right, and you'll make it. So ideally you dash before the bouncer and just hold right, but if you beef it, you can just come back to here and dash straight off here, and you don't have to do another dash. So for this climb coming up, I can think of 3 methods, and I'm gonna go from easy to hard, I guess. The first method, Crystal and Clear uses, and you don't actually start your charge right away. You shoot your charge into this guy, the last laser. You shoot a C-Sting into it, and that's just to reduce lag, because this section is pretty laggy with the lasers and the ball and chain guys and the bouncers and all the stuff. If you add the charge particles, it adds more lag. So what Crystal used to do anyways is you'd shoot right here and then do a wall kick around this guy. So it's like a short hop wall kick between his ball and his face, and that'll get you over to here, and then you can climb the ladder and start your climb. And that gives you a lot more leniency on the timing. You'll have plenty of C-Sting to make a couple mistakes and still make it to the top without taking damage. Here you can either go to the left wall to get here, or you can do something like that. Yo, what up, Montons? Either way, you want to get up to here, and it's 2 kicks, 2 kicks, 3 kicks. And when you're doing these last kicks, since you're traveling to the opposite side of the tower, I guess, you want to do 7 pixel kicks if you can. They're not hugely important, but it'll speed up the process a little bit. So again, this is the Crystal method. A little wall kick over the top of the guy, release your C-Sting on the wall there, and then climb. And you'll have plenty of C-Sting to make it all the way to the top, as long as you don't make any huge mistakes. Now, a little tighter method is to have your C-Sting ready to go and pop it before this ball and chain guy. And that saves a wall kick, and it's going to be slightly faster, but it's going to be much tighter. And this is where your 7 pixel wall kicks really come into play. It's going to save you the extra time you need to be able to make it all the way to the top without bonking this last guy. Because see, it wears off right after the wall guy, the wall blaster thing. So this was called the Tiki Climb, I believe. This strat. You release it right before this guy, and then you don't want to do the wall kick. You want to jump right to the ledge. And you gotta climb fast, otherwise you're gonna take a hit from this guy at the end. The other method, the method I use, which I think is probably the fastest, is I'll start with my charge, and I'll pop it early to alleviate some of that lag. Right here at this spring is where I'll pop my C-Sting, and then it eliminates some lag for the rest of this hallway. The thing is, you're going to run out of C-Sting at a precise point in the climb, and you're going to need to swap to ice to finish off a couple of enemies that are in your path. And that's what that one looks like. I think it's the fastest strat. It has a little bit of risk of, well, obviously damage because it's super tight and the ice shot's pretty precise. And also if that wall turret drops ammo, it's kind of bad. So, again, pop the C-Sting here, and now you gotta go. There's no time to waste because your C-Sting is running out. You want it to run out right after you get through that last ball and chain guy, and then you gotta swap 3 times. I like to shoot the ice just a little bit off the wall, and it'll take out those 2 guys pretty regularly. It's kind of a precise trick, you just have to practice it a bunch. If you're holding right the whole time, it might not get them. This guy's not usually shooting at you. Double kill. So one more time. The ice climb. And you can even get a gap jump at the end. This is probably one of the harder sections in the stage. I mean, the stage has got a lot of tough stuff between Leap of Faith and the climb here, and Vile Skip can be a little finicky, but just practice it. You'll get the hang of it. I'd start with maybe the wall kick strat and work your way to progressively faster strats. Okay, Kawanger. Pretty easy Hotto. This is where we start buffering. So his health is going to fill up, and then when it's full, you can do your quarter circle forward. Before the fight even starts, you can do your quarter circle forward, and you can also shoot. I usually mash my shot out just to ensure that it comes out, because if you try to buffer the shot early, nothing will happen. But you wait for his health to be all the way full before you start your quarter circle forward. And you should be good. It's pretty free. So I'll do my quarter circle forward now, and then I'll mash shots. Kawanger can teleport before the Hotto reaches him, so that's something you gotta be aware of. There's not really a good backup besides that. Throwing a second Hotto. It'll get him most of the time, but sometimes he'll teleport right on top of you. And there's nothing you can do about it. So it's pretty free, but Kawanger can control you. I call this one the Balls of Steel strat. It's no fear. Throw another one. Don't be scared. Just do it. Hope for the best, because you're already getting boned by RNG. So, like, what's the worst that can happen? He can just bone you with even worse RNG. But most of the time it'll connect. The first auto will. Okay. Coming up next, we've got one more corridor. Start your charge right away. Oh, great. God dang it. Alright, give me a second. I gotta get back there. Crash the practice ROM. What a guy. Yeah, that sucks. You can see what the stage looks like in action now. totally beefed it. Let's just try a regular leap. Damn, that's annoying that I crashed the ROM like that. Well, one thing I didn't mention during the vial skip is that sometimes he'll dash forward and jump straight up at you, in front of you. You want to jump up and get trapped by that trap shot, but do not shoot a rolling shield to try to knock him back, because for whatever reason that pattern has a tendency to result in a soft lock. So if he dashes forward and jumps straight up and shoots the trap shot, just forget about the rolling shield and just take the trap shot to the face and let him walk back if he wants to. Uh-oh. Here's the backup for if you're doing the ice climb and you beef it. I also beefed the backup, so that's good, but whatever. Got a lucky health drop. Thanks. Thanks, guy. Okay. Dead Clanger. Holding a charge immediately and swapping to C-Sting. And I'll walk until I've got my C-Sting, and then I'll do a dash jump so that I'm at the wall right as the wall breaks open. And once we're here, we want to. It'll usually be ready right as you're sort of jumping over this Met. So the idea is release, and this section can be a little laggy, so it can be beneficial to take out some of these guys on the way through. But that risks potential ammo drops. Excuse me, ammo drops that could slow you down. So you got to be wary. But just know that if you do it like this, they'll all go over your head. One thing you definitely don't want to do. Well, okay, that rolly guy is a problem if you shoot him. His drop will not go over your head. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to let your C-Sting fan out if you're shooting him, because that's just going to generate even more lag, right? So if you're going to do these C-Sting shots, just make sure you're shooting them from point blank so that your C-Sting doesn't separate. It's a pretty easy segment, honestly. You could just ignore them too, but it's a little laggier if you leave all the bad guys. Killing a couple of them can be hugely beneficial for the lag. Okay, Bow Spider. Coming into the fight, you want to start with a little bit of a charge. Well, I just start charging right away, in case he throws babies. If he doesn't throw babies, great, just dump it and auto his ass. Bow Spider's always going to cross every green path he comes across. So, as soon as the pattern shows up on screen, you can tell where he's going to end up based on where the green lines are placed. One way to sort of increase your ability to read his pattern is to get him down to low health and then try to survive, because he moves faster at low health. I know Tiki also said he used to he had flashcards made up so that he could just so he could just like practice wherever he was. Ooh, nice shot. But I think you could probably get by just taking him down to low health. Oh, ice is his weakness, by the way, and you always have time to charge a full pink shot. Okay, see, now he's at full speed, so you could just practice reading his patterns and staying alive whilst trying to avoid baby death. But he's always going to cross every green strand he comes to. Another thing you can do is, like, if you're up on the wall at the same height as Spider, she'll throw babies from the sky, but you should never be up on the wall. In this fight, you should always just be on the ground. Another note, I suppose, is that there's different levels of crossing, right? They're at kind of set heights. This one is safe to stand under if he's not coming down on that spot. The bottom one, he'll hit you if you try to stand there. Whereas the one tier up is safe to stand under. Like, say Bow Spider is gonna end up on this string here, but he's crossing from this string. If it's a second, high green strand, then you're safe to stand here, and he'll go right over your head. And that can just be useful for getting him close to the center, getting X close to the center, whilst also autoing. So, anyways, you come in with a baby charge in case the babies come, and then you just look at his pattern, figure out where he's going to be, and try to auto him from a position where X will be close to the center. It's really a pretty easy fight, especially with auto. The any percent fight can be a little more difficult, considerably more difficult. For one, you have almost no health. For two, you've got babies to contend with, and takes way more shots. He starts to speed up, but in Hundo it should be pretty free as long as you can figure out how to read the patterns. You can also do what's called a negative edge auto, where you just come in with your charge for the babies, and if he doesn't drop babies, you can do the auto and then release your charge shot. Do your quarter circle forward and release, and it'll shoot a auto. Like so. So, up to you how you want to do that, but you always want to come in with a charge here, just in case there's babies. You can sort of sweep the floor of the baby spiders. I guess that wraps up Sigma 1. So you don't want to stand too close when he's coming down to the bottom crossing, otherwise you'll get hit in the head like that. But yeah, that's it for Sig 1. Sig 2 coming up soonish. Next week sometime, probably. So, any questions or whatever, just let me know. I'll gladly answer any questions or what I left out. Just hit me up some way or another. Tweet at me, whatever. I don't care. I'll get back to you. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time for Sigma 2. Peace. Yeah, I'm going to do some runs now, Montez. I'm going to take a quick break and then do some more